Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, traders and investors. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. I'm Seth Blazowski, filling in for Spencer Israel, here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. On today's show, we are going to be talking futures choppy, another leg up in the gold market, chaos down in Argentina, Roku ripping, and CEO buy at GE. Today's guest is going to be Nick Chahine, options expert, writer and creator of Create Income with Options Spreads and sellspreads.com.
All right. Thank you, Seth. Excellent. Well done there. Good morning, folks. S&P futures are in the red by 8 handles this morning at 28.72 and a quarter. Had a little hint of a rally overnight. That was snuffed out at 28.89.50. So good 18 handles away. That'd be a good target on the upside here. Going to need some good news for that to happen. On the downside, we took out Monday's low, which is right in the area of last Thursday's low. We went to 66.75 and we've rebounded. Folks, I don't have anything in there because you had a low, a couple lows at the 28.20 area. So some backing and filling in the S&Ps. Crude just hanging out 55, can't clear that level. Current high 55.30, down 48 cents at 55.45. What is moving is the gold market, up $18.90 at 1536.10, clearing 1500. Silver clearing 17, up 34.9 cents at 17.42. Bitcoin really not participating here, backing off from the $12,000 level, down $245. Let's bring in Triple D, who's keeping an eye out for catalysts this morning.
All kinds of catalysts always going on here, but I want to go to General Electric. I want to start here because stock just started lifting here a little while ago. We got a purchase by the CEO. What's the details here?
CEO Lawrence Culp buys 331,684 shares at an average price of $9.04.
Vote of confidence. I mean, it needed a vote of confidence. This can help these stocks. This has been going straight down basically since the earnings report. We know it lifted initially on the earnings report and it just got ugly. It couldn't get over all that resistance at 1070. So now it gets a little lift in the pre-market here. Interested, we got a down market here. So maybe get a shot at this at 907, 908, 910 this morning. I don't know if I'm paying up 1.2%, but if it comes back to scratch around 905 where the close was, I'm interested. Not long term, but short-term trade. And I would be stopping out at the low yesterday. So I'm setting up a full trade for you here, a swing trade, stopping out at $8.95. I do not want it to make a new low on the move. But I've seen this happen time and time again. You get these vote of confidence from the CEO, and good things can happen.
Yeah, and this is similar to the overstock, right? Do you still have that, or did you do a swing trade off that, or was that just a short-term trade? I can't remember.
Which stock you talking?
Overstock?
No, I was a short term. I got out of that way too short. So this was what I talked about. I picked up overstock on a CEO vote of confidence around $9.90. I sold it the next day because it lifted 2 points the next day. It felt like it was way overdone. Now, is not going to do that. It's not a thin little stock like overstock, but it could show some life here. I mean, this is something that it needed a vote of confidence. It's been going straight down. CEO is giving it to a certain extent. I mean, it's not a huge purchase, 300,000 shares, but it's not insignificant either. So I've seen this happen before where stocks are in the gutter and CEO comes in and buys and they show life for a couple of days. So could this get up to 950 over the next couple of days? I think it's possible. But again, if the selling overcomes it and they just start selling it again, even with the CEO purchase, then something else is going on, and then I don't want any part of it. So if I was buying it today, I would not want it to make a new low on the move. The low of the move so far has been $8.95.
Yeah, came all the way back to the June low. Just as we talk in the pre-market trading, the current high is 918. And boy, you got some big old red candles to keep an eye on here. 915 was your close from last Friday. You got a big open area here. Like if they really, and I don't think we're going to see 948, 953 today. But over the next couple days, you're looking for a target. You had a trio of highs from last week, right at that 950 area. Got a little bit of a weak market working against you here. We're still waiting for what's our boy, Mr. Inch or Mr. Tusa, JP Morgan, GE to weigh in this stock. But if they're selling everything else, they got to find something to buy, right, Dennis?
Sometimes that's the case. So, I mean, a vote of confidence will usually lift the stock, especially when it's in the gutter like this one is. The other thing I want to talk about just before we go to the couple earnings reports that we had was the Viacom CBS. So we got rumors yesterday of what the deal price is going to be, and this looks like it's going to be a take under, where Viacom's actually going to get less than where the stock was trading. And you can see what the stock did yesterday on that news. I actually did short the open on VIA. I covered too soon. You know, that scalper blood in me, so I got out too soon. But CBS started to come in afterwards as well. It was trading up initially because, they're thinking they're going to get it on the cheap. Then they realized they were buying Viacom, and they're like, we better sell this anyway. So I don't know. The long-term CBS Viacom, they've obviously got lots of issues here, but it looks like we're going to get a deal. Nothing official here yet. CNBC was saying it could come as early as today, but the price that they were talking was, I think, I'm going from my memory here. I don't know if you have the pro open in front of you there, Joel, but I think it was like 0.57 shares or 0.58 shares. Like obviously nothing official yet, but if that is the
595 is what I see.
What is it, Seth?
0.595.
0.595. So all you do is you take the price, and we can do this just as an exercise just to teach the non-risk arb traders here. So basic grade 1 math here, or I guess maybe it's grade 3 math. So you go CBS, currently trading at 47.9 was the close, times 0.595.
596. It says between 596 and 5965.
Okay, it's 596. Go there. That gives you a price on Viacom of $28.54. Lo and behold, that's right where it's trading, $28.51. So all you need to know right now is that Viacom VIAB is going to be trading directly off of the CBS pricing. So CBS moves, VIAB is going to move in that 0.595 ratio. If that is confirmed, risk arbs will really take over, and that's going to be a ratio there. So disappointing for shareholders who are hoping for a good price. Looks like they're not going to get it.
Gosh, man, what about like this CBS chart not looking
It's
good?
all been dogs.
Yeah.
All the media, and that's the one down, that's the one argument against my Disney position probably, is that all the other media stocks, Comcast has held up very well. But, you look at all the other smaller media companies, they've all been real dogs here. Even my AMC networks, which I did sell up there in the 60s, it's back here at 50. And I was looking at it yesterday. I was like, should I pull the trigger? I'm like, but so many of these media companies are just not in favor here right now that I'm not sure I can pull the trigger on the AMC networks, even though I think it's cheap. And even though I think it's still a potential takeout target later on. But at $50 is where I originally bought it. I could get back in. I'm not sure I'm going to do it though. So, anyways, the bottom line, media companies are in a world of hurt here.
CBS. And I wouldn't put it in the media company category, but I would put in something to do with TV, right?
Which one?
Roku.
All right, well, this is the attack. This is the opposite of the media. This is why the media companies have not been performing well. Obviously, with Disney has its problems with ESPN, but Disney has so many other sources of revenue. But CBS is a pure play on CBS and cord cutting. I mean, this is all attacking cord cutting. I mean, are you going to get, CBS available through other medium? Yes. They're going to figure out different ways to go about it. And the stock hasn't been killed, but it hasn't gone anywhere up near in the last while either. It's kind of gone nowhere. But Roku has just been unbelievable. I tweeted this yesterday, and it's been a great call by Spinner. He's been bullish for a while, so give him some props. You look here, and the stock market goes up, and Roku goes up. The stock market goes down, and Roku goes up. It seems like Roku just goes up. I mean, it's gone kind of parabolic here now. I don't know if this ends well, but I mean, right now the wind is fully in the sails. It's like a hurricane wind. So this boat is just flying. And I don't know where it stops, but it seems like every day this thing goes up. One day it's going to have a reversal. It's going to lose like $10 on nothing, but because it's just gone too far too fast. But who knows when that is, if it's a third day, fourth day. I mean, I feel like eventually it's going to have a sell-off here. Maybe today's the day, but it's been an incredible performer.
It would take like a downgrade or something like that, and you saw if that's happened before.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just going to be natural sellers come in. I mean,
You think so?
don't you think there's a few people in? It's just been going straight up, straight up, straight up. You all of a sudden get a 4 or 5 point pullback. There'll be people looking to ring the register, and that knocks another 5, 6 points off it. So I think just the natural trading of it will eventually bring it down 10 or 12 points. But I don't know if it's like 150 before it does that. So I'm definitely not chasing it up here at 136 now. But there's a lot of people who want to be buying pullbacks in this thing, and every time it's pulled back significantly, it's been an opportunity. So there'll be people on the buy the dip button in this one for sure.
One in Roku here, the high from yesterday. You're trading below that, so if you want to target for today, 136, I believe 55 was the high from yesterday. So maybe before it, a lot of these stocks, even though they're over $100 a volatile, if there's someone trying to sell on strength, you will find out because there'll be a couple highs in the same area, not even close. A high on Friday, 28.20. The high yesterday, 136.55. So that's a target here in Roku.
It's a pure play on cord cutting, and everybody is jumping in that. That's what everybody believes, and that's what is happening. It's just valuation. That's why this will not be in my long-term portfolio, for the simple reason that valuation is crazy. But we know these things can stay crazy for a long period of time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this thing at $200 eventually, just because the way these stocks go. So I'm definitely not shorting. Same thing I said, a week ago or a few days ago on this thing. I said, I'm definitely not shorting it. I'm not buying it, when it's trading up $15 it was in the after, but I was definitely not shorting it. I'm glad I didn't short it. I'm still definitely not shorting, because I think I said this after the earnings report. It was right after it. It was trading like 115 in the pre-market, or 116. And there was people on my timeline saying, yeah, I'm going to get big on shorting on Roku. And I was like, whoa, man, that's the hardest thing to do, short these rocket ships. It's a good way to lose a lot of money. Well, in 3 days, those people are down 20 points. So don't be a hero. When stocks are making new all-time highs, it's not time to short them. It's often a better deal to buy them, but I don't chase. And that's why Roku's just a no trade for me. I mean, day trading, you can day trade anything short term, but we're talking kind of swing trading cap / investing cap. Definitely not investment. Valuation's crazy. Swing trading, the path of least resistance is probably still higher.
I'm starting a new filter. When Dennis says not to short a stock, I'm going to buy it.
I love the guts. So basically, when I say I'm definitely not shorting it, it means I don't have the guts to buy it, but I kind of want to buy it. That's kind of what that means.
That's a new filter.
It would have been nice at 116. I should have just turned around and closed my eyes and bought it, and been at 136, 20 points in 3 days. Wouldn't be too bad.
Not even look at. Yeah, you probably could have bought the 136s back then for, I don't know, $8, $10, $12 or something like that. Be a scratch. I haven't even looked
hard on the options. It's so. And another friend was calling. I mean, you get so many people reaching out to me, for different trades and stuff, and somebody else saying, about options and buying and obviously, looking at, different options on some of the high flyers. And I'm like, just the premiums you're paying are so substantial that it almost always seems like it's better to just go buy the stock. So it's hard to make money buying options. Like, that's why we're gonna have Nick Chahine on here in 20 minutes. He'll tell you again, he is a net seller of options always. I mean, there's a website built around it. So I just think buying options is a losing game in the long run, because you're always fighting that time premium, and it's always and so you're already behind the 8 ball, really. You're behind the ball, not the 8 ball. You're behind the ball when you're trying to buy options. So I've always, if I was trading options, the only time I was buying them was when they had like an option expiration, when the time premium was all gone. I hate paying time premium.
All right, we got some earnings here, and we got a little bit of an earnings surprise here. Let's JD.com, a stock that was in the gutter, had a Q2 beat here. The street was at 7 cents. They came in at 33 cents, so that's a solid beat. Sales was a beat as well, 20.89 billion, and they came in at 21.89 billion. So there's a beacon of good news there. Stock coming off its low. The June lows was linked. I think the CEO had some trouble, and that took it down. Had a furious rally back to 32. Now you're getting a lot of the losses back here from August. Your pre-market high 29.10. You're trading right up against that. Boy, there's not much in here, Dennis. On the
got room to 30. You
yeah.
can start getting near 30, all kinds of overhead supply. I am definitely not buying this one. I don't even have an inkling to want to buy this one. I have an inkling to want to short this. I think if this thing gets up near 30, I might even be trying to short this. So this is a stock that is not like Roku. It is not making new all-time high. It is a stock that has serious overhead supply just above 30. It's a stock that everybody has been losing money in for a long time, and all of a sudden gets a 7% pop. I think you have institutional money managers that will be saying, thank you for giving me some of my money back or potentially all of it back, and I'm willing to sell it. I think you have a lot of willing sellers in the upper 29. So at 29.10, you might be a little bit early on the short. If I was long it, I'd probably ring the register. I think at 30 bucks, I think it's a good short. That's my opinion.
Based on the daily charts, there's nothing at 30. That doesn't mean there's, I mean,
so Joel's going to give you a better level, which is good. That's why you're the technician. I'm just going with my overall gut.
I know, and your gut is good, and it would need to rally another buck. 29.91 was your July month-end close, so that, abuts the 30 level that Dennis talked about. But above that, there's a pair of highs at 30.50, 30.60. So
it thickens up. When you get above 30, it thickens up. So you know what? I can see the stock, dude. Get up there. Let's hit some buy stops above 30, maybe sucker some people in there and then tank it. So I'm calling $30. I mean, it could go 31, 30. The problem is when you're shorting these stocks that are up 7%, I mean, it could keep ripping too. So you almost want, if it's trading, it's almost better to wait till it starts to top out and starts to go back down. Maybe it cuts out through 30, goes 30 and a half, and then cuts back down through the 30. Maybe that's the time to short, as opposed to shorting when it's going straight up. Maybe you wait till it starts to come in. But I don't like this stock for the simple reason is that it's been an underperformer for a long time, and I like to sell pops on stocks that are in clear downtrends. And if you go out to that weekly, this stock is still in a clear downtrend.
All right, so we had a good report. We also had a bad report here from Advanced Auto Parts. They came in second quarter. They came in a little bit light. They came in 21 cents light. Street estimates at 2.21. They came in at $2, and they missed on the sales as well. Street was looking for 2.36 billion. They came in at 2.3 billions. They did initiate a buyback, $400 million buyback.
Cushion the blow.
Yeah, they narrowed some guidance here. Oh, man, it was an ugly chart going in, and it's an uglier chart coming out. I'll just give you your pre-market low, new low of the move here, 128.33. You've got a 4-point bounce, so I would be looking to, a back and fill in that area where it's going to go on the upside. Right here, we've stalled at 133.13 since trading under 130. Dennis, I know you don't like the chart long-term or short-term.
I mean, I look at this, and I think this is the dog of the three. So O'Reilly's, obviously there's three stocks that are similar here that a lot of people pair up together. There's O'Reilly, ORLY, Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, and AutoZone, AZebra-O. You look recently, AutoZone made new all-time highs. You look recently, O'Reilly made new all-time highs. AAP did not even come close to its highs from 2015, which the stock was way back at 200. So yes, it got up to 180, so I guess it kind of got close, but it has been the underperformer here. So obviously the other two have been a lot better. If I'm going to invest in one, I want to be investing in the stronger stocks of the group. I feel like this is the weakest of the three. So it's disappointing here. Yes, and recently it's been trending down. If we're looking at the last 3-4 months, it's been ugly. I'm not buying stocks that are in downtrends again. It's just not the way that this market's working. It works that you're buying dips on stocks and uptrends. I'm having trouble seeing an uptrend. Even when I go out to the longer term chart, I have trouble really seeing an uptrend. I kind of see no trend when I go to a 7-year chart on this. And when I go to a 1-year chart, I see a clear downtrend. So more of a seller of the pop if it was to pop back up on AAP.
I'm going to bring up this stock. I don't see any specific news except it's hitting an all-time high here. And I don't think I've ever looked at it, ever traded it. Dennis, Carvana, CVNA.
I trade every once in a while.
It's an e-commerce platform for buying and selling used cars. So
it's been hot.
Yeah.
Carvana's really been hot. I mean, 2018, the stock was $20. It's 80 here now. So this is one that's in a clear uptrend. Is there news on that? Why did you bring up Carvana?
Oh, because someone mentioned it in the chat, and I'm just looking. I hadn't
Oh, it's
really
been hot.
hadn't been heard of it. I don't know. It probably that must have been a boost off some earnings here. I'm not.
Yeah, it's the gap and go pullbacks to be bought in this probably. I mean, I don't know anything. I haven't followed I've traded a few times, but I don't follow closely enough to really know the fundamentals. So I haven't dived into it with my investment hat on. I'll just say that stock, obviously gap and go. I believe that might have been off the earnings report there when it gapped up from 60 to 70. Now it's 78. So you have a lot of people who are short, maybe caught here. I don't see any reason that this stock is going to, it's been a terrible tape here too for a few days, really. And the stock's been performing in that tape. So I don't see why it stops.
They had some C-suite changes possibly. It looks like some forms come in yesterday evening for chief product officer, chief brand officer, and director.
I mean, there's no movement here. It hasn't even traded. It's a trade. It says it's traded 17,000 shares. So that was just a late cross from last, because you can see it's at the close. So that might have been a late reported cross. And you know what else too, which we didn't mention? The NYSE had all kinds of problems yesterday there.
Really?
Yeah, the consolidated tape went down with about 10 minutes to go in the day. So they didn't on a lot, not on all the stocks, but on a lot of the stocks. So what that means is that direct feeds, the ones that are going to high frequency traders and everybody who's paying big bucks for it, were working fine. But the consolidated tape is what brings all your quotes to all your retail brokerage platforms. So there was no official close for a lot of stocks. It was an hour and a half after close 5:30. And I still didn't know where stocks like Citigroup closed, Goldman Sachs closed, JP Morgan closed. Those closes weren't there. So at 5:30, finally the ICE sends out an email with, okay, we know we're still trying to get the closing prints. We're still trying to get the consolidated tape fixed. So they sent out an email with an Excel file with all the official closes. So that's what they sent out. Finally, at about 7:45 last night, almost 4 hours after the close, the official close, these closing prices started to come in. So, and if you look this morning, it looks like they have it all fixed, but the tape wasn't even working. Like I was trading stocks last night, and the trades weren't even showing up on the consolidated tape. It was just a mess. So anyway, it's always interesting, when you've got, those little technical issues. What I found interesting last night is that nobody was talking about it. There was like, I went to Twitter and I was like, what, is this consolidated tape issue? Is there something out on there? Because ICE had sent out an email about 4:15 with an update, but there was nobody talking about it. And I was like, this is a mess. I'm trying to trade after hours. None of my trades are showing up on the consolidated tape. I don't know where the closing prices are on half of these stocks. So it's like your relative, is the stock up, down from the close? I don't even know. And I went to Twitter and I even searched under latest, and there's not even one tweet about it. I was like, is there absolutely nobody that trades after hours? Is that what? Because if you were trying to trade after hours, any New York stock, it was just impossible. So I don't know if nobody on Twitter trades after hours, or nobody's had the time to complain about it. But I'm sure there's a few traders out there that trade after hours. I'm one of them, and it was a mess last night. So you just think about those issues, and I don't remember. I went on a tangent here from something. What were we talking about right before that?
I forgot. I went and got some coffee, and then I came back. Top Buyer saying he's wondering if it has something to do with the timing for the market on close orders. I don't know. JV Spec thought it was his platform, but
yeah, no, it wasn't the platform, because I have. So this is when you're at a certain level of trading, you have to have backup, right? So I have my regular trading platform, another trading platform in case that platform goes down, and then I have a quote provider from a third platform. They were all messed up. So as soon as you see it on more than one, you're like, okay, this is a New York Stock Exchange issue. And NASDAQ was fine. So any listed stock, but it was NYSE, and not only it was some ARCA too, because NYSE owns ARCA. So it was and they sent out an email about 4:30, about 30 minutes. I already knew there was a problem. I'm like, this is a consolidated tape's a mess. Finally at 4:30, they said, yes, we know there's a problem. Yes, we're trying to fix the consolidated tape issue. But anybody who was trying to trade after hours on a New York stock last night was trading blind, really. You had quotes. The quotes were working fine, but nothing was showing up on the tape. So like I was buying Hertz last night at 13.10. You're just blind it. There's nothing showing up on the tape. So the trades, you can see it that it's counting down and it's going, but nothing is showing up on the tape. So it's always interesting.
Why are we buying Hertz at 13.10?
Because it was down 17 cents. basic math. The market was trading higher and somebody was selling Hertz down. So I was like, okay, I'll take a shot.
Just real quickly, we met.
There's not a lot of. I'm not definitely not looking at that chart. I'll tell you that, because that chart is ugly.
Get out, get out.
I've already sold a lot of it, but
you know what's interesting is these exchange stocks. Look at ICE. I mean, it had a bad day yesterday, but ICE is near all-time high, and
it's the data. I mean, they reinvented themselves. They went from selling and obviously making money off of their trading. And obviously at one point in time, New York Stock Exchange, which is owned by ICE, was doing like 90% of the volume on their listed stocks. And now it's like 18 or something. So, the other exchanges all came out, and everybody, obviously we went from a monopolistic type structure on New York stocks to breaking it all up. And now we have 13 different exchanges, or 14. I can't even keep track anymore. 40 dark pools. I mean, trades are happening off exchange, is just doing almost 40% of the volume as well. So volume has went all over the place. So they lost a lot of volume. They had to make it up elsewhere. And that's what they've done is it's the selling of the data. I cut ICE a check every single month. I don't even know how much I pay. I think I pay them like $250 a month. So because I'm professional, I have to pay for, anybody that's designated pro has to pay for their quotes. You can get a package deal if you're retail. Sometimes you can get them for free, or like $4 bundle or something like that. As soon as you have a license, as soon as you're a prop trader, you got to pay for your quotes. And it's not only that, you have to pay for every single input. So I have 3 different platforms that are taking in NYSE quotes, and I've got to pay for 3 separate accounts. They give you a little deal, but the first one costs you $85, get 2, then they'll give them both to you for like $65 or something. They give you a little package deal when you get 3. So every single time you get a platform that's bringing in NYSE data, you have to pay for that data. So it's crazy. This is stuff that we got for free. Up till 2007, all this stuff, or 2000, I don't know the year, but 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there, it was always free. And now they sell the data, and it's all about the data. That's how they make their money. And obviously they've got this data that you need. You need the quotes. So they know that, and that's why they charge you for them.
All right, S&P's a little bit on the comeback trail here, down only 475 at 2875.5. We are above yesterday's low. We'll keep an eye on that, 72.50. I just want to mention a stock here in the YouTube chat that I'm just going to look at it technically. Never have traded it, have no idea what it does. Play AGS, Dennis. You can look at it technically too.
What's the symbol?
Alfred. Go. What's G?
I've never traded. I've heard of it though.
Yeah. Sam.
Holy, what happened with this?
They had a bad earnings report. Worse than Q2 results. But, and then Deutsche Bank downgraded it, and then Bank of America downgraded it. But man, you have the old earnings day low, right? Very interesting here at 862. You picked up on a good volume. I don't know, 1051, 1055. That was the high 2 days on Monday, and also on the gap down day. So I don't know if it gets above 1050. I'm just speaking technically.
Getting into a gap.
So that's what I'm looking at. I just want to real quickly. I have no.
But again, this is a stock that is awful. Everybody except the people who bought in the last couple of days is down money in this thing. So it's not going to be like an easy ride higher. I don't follow this story at all. Obviously, the stock's only been out here for just over a year, so I can't tell you anything fundamental about this company. I can just tell you there's a lot of people who are down money in it, which makes me think that it's also possible that there's going to be sellers as the stock starts to rise.
Play AGS, designer and supplier of gaming products and services for the gaming industry. That's what they do. So I guess there's not much gaming going on here for the. I
don't know anything about the fundamentals. I'm not even commenting.
See what happened, 10.5.
I don't follow close enough. So Joel's giving you a good technical level. Talking, you can trade anything technically. And obviously, in the absence of fundamental news, I've always said technicals work fantastically in the absence of fundamental news. You get a fundamental, I don't care how pretty the chart looks. If the stock reports disappointing earnings and the stock lowers guidance, the stock's going down. That's why I am more of a headline trader than a technical trader. I've always said that's why we leave the technicals up to Joel. I respect the technicals. I will trade stuff technically sometimes intraday, but for the most part, I still like trading inefficiencies, trading headlines. And as we sell off here, I've got to move some orders.
Oh yeah, what happened there? I just said we're trying to come back up.
We just leaked a little bit. We're still chopping around here, so
no direction. GE still up 9 cents there on the CEO buy by Larry Culp. So I don't know. You're getting a little. Do we have any 8:30 data there? Oh, CPI excluding food.
CPI just came out.
Up 0.3% versus 2% estimate. I mean, I can't even figure it out. What we know. Do we want inflation? So then we don't have to lower interest.
Knows.
I can't even figure it out now. But anyways, down in the red here, still off the pre-market low, down 9 handles. Dennis, did you see anything in imbalances here?
I don't look. Let's go check them out.
That was a leak there. Yeah, a little bit.
You know what's interesting is I'm starting to see some odd lots in the imbalance feed. I wonder, New York Stock.
I wonder if they're still messed up.
It looks like I don't know why I'm seeing odd lots in the imbalance feed. It must be New York Stock Exchange started including odd lots in there. You often wonder if you have technical issues when you have little, things like that, because I saw that starting yesterday. So I wonder if that had something to do with the ICE feed. But just as a side note, McDonald's 41,000 shares to buy. There was a note from who was it? MKM. They put a buy on McDonald's, and that's why I think the stock is trading higher here in the pre-market. Just jumping over here, Ford 50,000 to buy, Bank of America 57,000 to sell. Remember, the TLT is trading up this morning, although leaking a bit now, and that's usually bad for the banks. But the TLT was up a lot more earlier, and it's starting to leak here a bit. Man, that TLT just keeps on ripping.
You see it?
Unbelievable. Citigroup 53,000 to sell. They're all pretty small.
Okay. All right. 8:32 here. Let me go to my doc and see if we did. Okay, we did Advanced Auto Parts. Let's do one more earnings here. Let's do EAT. That's Brinker International.
Great ticker symbol. We still have to do our ticker symbol show.
Yeah, ticker symbol and our.
I've done that for 2 years.
Yep. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it next week.
Put it on the agenda.
All right. So what do we got? They own a host of restaurants.
A ton of them.
Everyone's been eating out lately.
No pun intended.
Let me.
Very intended. What's the earnings look like?
Q4 mixed. They beat on EPS $1.34 versus $1.36, but they missed on sales. Street was looking for 835.23 million. They came up just a tad shy, 834.1 million. So a mixed report there. I guess they're focusing on the EPS beat now. We're trading up $2.50.
No, we're not trading up at all. It's just an odd lot traded. So we have traded only 250 shares and only 100 shares, 39.72. So we're not trading up at all. I can tell you it is bid up, though. It is bid up at $40.10, which would put up 30 cents. But we can say that price discovered. Now it just traded up, Joel, for real. So I don't know if you were predicting the future here. That's traded the 42 for real. So you predicted that ahead of time. That was impressive, Joel. That's impressive. So it's trading 42 now and it's bid 41.75. So now they look like they like it. Joel, you're like seeing into the future.
Yeah, I got that one there.
How did you get that quote into the future?
Futures, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm predicting the future movement here.
I know he totally did. It had an odd lot traded 42, and as soon as you said that, then the 42 started to go. Anyway, 42
sharp traders here, and all I'll say is that I'm not making any other predictions. I'll say if it gets a 42.44, there's a pair of highs 42.44, 42.74. Split them. Caught 42.61 if this rally continues. All right, it's 8:34 here. It's a Tuesday. It's every other week, and we bring on Nick Chahine. He's an options expert. He's the writer of Create Income with Option Spreads. Nick is probably having one heck of a time in these markets. Do we have Nick on the line?
Yep, he should be here. Nick, you here? Might be muted.
Tricky Nicky, can you hear us? I see him in the chat. Boom, 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 boom. How about unmuting him? He looks like he's muted.
Unmute me, man. Unmute me.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm muted.
No, you're not. You are live.
I know. Now I am.
Okay. Do you have your tough question hat on here?
My tough question? Sure. It's a helmet. It's a helmet.
Okay. So you're on 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
right? And you observing the markets here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you made a statement that's kind of stuck in my mind. And you said, in the long run, you really don't think tariffs matter. In the long run.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you said eventually we're going to figure this out. So in the meantime, the market went all the way down. I mean, we're pretty close to
all the way down to -5% from all-time high, all the way.
Right.
Yeah,
So, but then we came back. So, if we look at like we were at 2 weeks ago, we're starting to leak here. I mean, sure, all the intraday stuff, all the news, all the tweets and everything. Do you still feel that way?
I still do. Nothing has changed. We still have the same headaches we had before. We still have the same positive we had before. CPI just came out 0.1% hotter than expected, but it's not a big.
Though? Shouldn't that be good? And then we don't need to,
I don't know why inflation is good. Everybody's like chasing 2% inflation. I thought their job was to keep inflation down. But anyway, it's above my pay grade. So
I agree. Nothing seems to make sense in this market. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, my overall look hasn't changed because nothing has changed. We still have two combative egos and a few other skirmishes. We have our own elections, new noise, and in China, the Hong Kong situation is getting worse. I don't know if it is actually. I think how we cover it changes. I look at the news and see what's in the ticker. Last week, if you received, I've been posting, I bet you this is what's going to be on CNBC next. I bet you this is what's going to be on CNBC. It's been like I could have scripted it as to what they're going to cover. On Friday, if you watch the shows there, they had a list of maybe 8 or 9 worries, and they included everything, including Italians and Argentina and all of that. So there's plenty to worry about, but that's always been here. And how is that going to impact the bottom line of the companies? That's really the bottom line. Is we're investing in companies. We're not investing in the index out of the blue. The index exists because there are companies inside of it. So choose the companies that matter. I sold some risk in Microsoft and CRM and BMY, Bristol Myers. So there are some good stories in there, and you can generate income from those. The upside hopium, unless you catch a breakout like the TLT or gold, then it's hard to bet on the upside or to buy and hope, whether upside or downside. Like I felt the inclination to short the TLT this week, so I did it via selling an iron butterfly. So basically, I'm trying to pin it at 140 for this week, based on what I saw in the open interest. So the overall thesis hasn't changed. So you got to find ways to make it work for you or not do anything.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, also we really don't touch on politics here, but we do have a presidential election in 2020. I mean, I think, could be symptomatic of a range bound market here. We did make a new all-time high, stuck over 3,000, a little bit of worry. So no, I just don't see the full-blown recession that that the bond market and that everyone's predicting here. But then again, we'll just have to wait to see how things play out. Steve Roberts in the YouTube chat is asking for your thoughts on Uber. Now I know is that the one you had for your son? Or was
that was the one. So Uber, the thesis has not changed for me. Okay. It's a very long-term thing. In fact, that's probably the first time ever that I went through an earnings season without even worrying about it. So if you missed the lows on Uber and you thought you want to own it for the long term, every dip is a buying opportunity because nothing has changed. The way I see it, every expert, I wrote a couple of articles on it. I did a video, and the feedback always the same. But price of drivers, it's like, okay, if you're still talking to me about drivers, you're missing the point of Uber. Okay. It's a marketplace. It's a venue to disseminate business one way or another, just like Amazon was. It sold books. So if you talk to me about how it's more expensive than Walden Books back then you missed the point of Amazon and you missed the rally in Amazon. So I'm willing to gamble a few bucks on it. I mean, I don't have a huge fortune in it, so I'm not worried about it.
Right. So you're not even trying to time it with options or hedging or anything?
No, options are time restricted. I would sell calls against my holding just as I would do any other asset I own, try to put it to work. And if they, call me away from it, I'll just rebuy it. It's not a big deal.
All right. So give us a couple stocks here that I know you have on your radar. Nick is one of our guests that plays both the long and the short side of the market via the options markets. He sets up his shopping list, and
Yep.
we'll kind of post earnings. How about I'll throw one at you here.
Okay.
Macy's.
Oh my gosh. Really? I don't like Macy's from the perspective of brick and mortar stocks. I still don't think they figured out the Amazon conundrum. They are trying to catch up. They waited too long to react, most of them, I should say. And Macy's, the chart says it all. I mean, I have to go to a monthly chart in order to see anything meaningful with the trend. And if the chart looks like this, I mean, there's nothing to say there, except that it's a giant head and shoulders to even lower prices. I mean, I wouldn't want to say that. It would offend anybody that still hopes on the stock.
What about the dividend, Nick? Get in there. Buy for that dividend.
No, does it pay a dividend? Why? Okay, so maybe it does. Then maybe there's a floor. 8%. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a worry right there, because price has to move, or they're going to have to change the dividends. How many stock do you see that pay that kind of a dividend for too long? In fact, I bought Ford. I bet on Ford upside for the same concept. I think it paid almost 7 or over 6 for sure. And I thought there's either a spike coming, or they're going to have to reprice the dividend somehow. And it paid quickly, but I didn't cash it out. So I think it's just flattish.
All right, so let's stick down with broken down retailers here. I don't even know if I should ask you this one. Triple BY, same ugly chart here.
Oh my gosh, same comments.
Same comment.
Same comments.
How about Square? How about Square?
Okay.
Option. There you go.
I lost money trying to play the upside. I lost on my last bet, I should say, for the upside. I really thought that with the earnings report, they were going to bust out. It had a good upside potential as far as setup technically. I was like, maybe the trigger will be up. I knew it was a binary thing because of earnings. It's always a on-off situation, and it was off. So now it's pinging back to the bottom end of the range. It's that little reddish line across. And so 60 was support then. So if you think that the market in general is going to hold, and I think it will, then by say hold, not like another red day, that's fine, another red day. If you look at the first chart, there's plenty of clues to give you where our support's in the market. And Square has a catch-up trade to Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. They used to trade in tandem. In fact, Square used to lead, and it lost the lead kind of like NVIDIA did. So I'm hoping it comes back into favor. Great business to be in.
I stuck it in the long-term portfolio right around this price. I'm averaging right around 63. I'm actually thinking about buying more here if it trades that low as 60. This is not a swing trade. This is not a day trade. This is in the retirement account because I do believe in the long-term.
Right. So here's a note that brings us back to what's going on. So December, the world was ending, and every stock was under pressure. Sentiment was extremely negative. Do we all agree on that? And if we do, this time it's different because the Fed is on our side. Back then, the Fed was one of the problems, one of the two main problems. So this time, the Fed is on our side. So I know that this time, if it held last time, this time the Fed will help hold. And the only two concerns I had for the last week, I've had them big, bold letters to my gang, is the inversion of the yield curve, which, by the way, is almost as inverted as December. Almost. I'll post it in a second. And second was the yen level. It's too high for my taste right now, because it's a safety trade. So if we believe that it's not as bad as December, in fact, we are now lower in the inversion curve than December. This morning I checked, it wasn't, so it must have moved. So it is the 10s to 2s I'm talking. So the yields on the 10s to 2s is not inverted, but it's lower than when it was in the worst part of December. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's a milestone in my head. So if the Fed can save the yield curve, and I think they can because they mojo the short-term yields. So let's see what happens here.
All right. I don't know what's with our chat today in YouTube, but they're asking about some stocks that just have horrible looking charts here. Dropbox looks like it's been dropping
That's
quite
been
a
a
bit.
disaster. That's been a valuation issue. Growth's not where it wants to be. This is an ugly, ugly stocks making new. These are stocks, and I just want to play, and I'll let you go, Nick. I'm just going to say, when stocks are making new all-time lows, I always say you got to go. I don't want to own anything that's making a new all-time low.
Plus, if you're trying to find the bottom of the barrel in stocks you loved at one point, you have to really reevaluate your perception on those stocks, because Dropbox has been in a penalty box for a long time, in my opinion.
Yep.
Every pop is, but look at who they compete with. I've used Dropbox for a decade, I think. I've never paid them, wouldn't ever consider paying them for anything they provide right now.
I've never paid money.
So, I've did my recommendations, and I hated how they handled me. They treated me like a crook every time I tried to install my extra 500 megabytes that they used to promise like, what is this? Oh, this computer has seen a Dropbox file before. Well, that's because I've had this computer for like 15 years. Of course it has. So anyway, it's just bizarre how they handle everybody. So to me, it's nothing I want to catch. There are better stuff. I mean, I'd rather catch Google than this one.
I think so too. I think it's a one-trick pony here, and that trick is not working very well anymore. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if DBX is eventually single digits. So I'm not.
Same comments on Box. Same comments on Box.
Ed Parker wants to short CMG so bad here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's up $2.02. So
that's a problem.
I don't know. I don't know what your appetite is for risk.
Oh my God.
You gotta hit this. You gotta hit the exit button if it clears 823. I see two highs.
Nice level.
Yeah, I mean, there's two highs there. So sold 2 days in a row. So that's what I would lean on. I would try and short as close as possible. Any thought on CMG? Come all the way back and then some.
Okay, so I've got one word to Roku. Okay, so this is the same symptom there. Why fight the healthiest gazelle? If you're a lion chasing a herd, follow the one that's limping.
Yeah,
because it would be a beautiful short, right? If you win. I do have a good friend of mine who's shorted, and every day we talk about it, and he's hoping. It doesn't make sense. It's too expensive for a restaurant. But if you remember, before their problem with the food, when they were in 2018, before they fell from grace, their asset for running was comps. They delivered, blistering comps. They just did. If they got their asset back, I do not want to short it, because
the stocks went from 300 to 800. Why can't it go to 1,000? Why fight this tape? I completely agree with you, Nick.
Oops, I typed in the wrong ticker there. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I'll post TMG, but the comments stand because I know the chart by heart. So, but the point is, they have their asset back. It looks like.
Here's an interesting chart. Someone's asking, do you think you're going to see AVGO back in the low 260s? And man, I'll tell you, there's a very determined buyer here between like 260, 250 and 265. We're trading at 275 here. So looks like some accumulation there. I mean, for the short term, who knows who's coming out with earnings or anything, but boy, I think if you want to wait for a pullback, I see this 262.5 to 265. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 levels within that area. So Nick, I know these chip stocks, one report, one tweet or something, they all could change in a heartbeat, but give us your take on AVGO.
Sure. I'm looking at the chart. I haven't traded it. So I would post, whoever looked at 260 knows the chart, because if I'm going to post it, it is a pivot point for a long time and best seen in a weekly chart to just illustrate the point. It's a headline stock. No, it's in the thick of things as far as Apple, as far as China, 5G, whatever it is. So 260. So the weekly point of control is 240 something, 243. My eyes are like dilated from last night, so I went to the doctor. 243, 244 is a weekly point of control. So this is where bulls and bears agree most on. they want to fight it out the hardest. So if it's falling, this should act as support, but that also will have to fight it's not exactly an inverse cup and handle, but whenever you attack a neckline and that neckline breaks, which is 250, then the bears prevail and they overshoot lower. So I would bet that 240, 243 should be support. And then 230 and a half-ish were two important weekly candles also. So if I'm long the stock, I would have intestinal fortitude to see $10, $15 drop without having to panic out of it. And if I'm looking for a long-term entry point, if I believe that the overall thesis is still alive, then it wouldn't be too crazy to nibble on dips.
What final one for you here? Netflix. Whew.
Yeah.
It had the drop, and then it tried to rally, and then Mr. Market didn't help you out. Well, this thing, I don't know.
Netflix did well yesterday. While everybody else was sick, it performed okay. So I sold some put spreads in Netflix instead of trying to chase the upside. It does have a big gap above, and I don't know if it ever leaves the gaps that big unless the whole story has changed. So I can tell you that the area around 385, which has been several times failures, is a wild one. So be careful if it gets there and you're trying to short it. Be careful if you're trying to go long it. This is obviously a fast mover. So pick a level and trade the level. Depends on time frame. For example, I would say on a 2-week basis, 3-week basis, 360 an obvious sticks out. Obviously, 296.6 is the last failure. If you want to lower, so 316 and a half, 296, 297 are the two shortest, closest trigger lines. I don't change anything unless it crosses either of those two lines.
Yeah, it's kind of in consolidation station here. I mean, we had the earnings report that disappointed. Yeah. We had the relief pop afterwards, and now it's kind of been leaking since. So I would say above 320, it starts to get interesting for me. Below 300, it starts to get interesting for me. So kind of, going, with the winner there. If it starts to get, look like it shows life.
But below 300, be careful because it might come down to like 275 pretty quickly.
Right.
But I don't like the metrics. I don't like the way they spend money. I don't like their attitude. I don't like how
the competition coming.
I don't like how they dismiss everybody. Disney is not going to kill Netflix. I think there's enough business to go around for everybody. But they have to change their ways. I mean, they can't be burning cash like that for a long time. Luckily for them, that rates are not going anywhere time soon. So if they want to go to the market to borrow more, it's still feasible. That comment goes to Tesla as well. All those leverage company that are burning cash. This is a they still have a few years of life as far as borrowing. Plus, you have here in Netflix a tightening range. If you think about it, it's a descending wedge that's coming to a point. Those always end up with a big move, direction unknown, but with a big move. So if you want a moving line, right now it's around 335. So I bet you around 320, like you said, is an eyeball. Maybe 325, things will come into like a contention point where it could flip back to positive as far as momentum.
Nick, we let time fly by here, getting your opinion on things. Thank you so much. Good input into the market. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Rufy Lopez wants us to look at SHOP, and then I'm going to talk ExxonMobil here for 1 second. SHOP down 344, which is really not that much considering what that stock has been doing.
Unbelievable performer. I had this conversation with you, Jeremy Newsom, in Nashville when the stock was $300. And I'm like, there's not a lot of good Canadian technology companies. So I think you've got a Canadian Canadian money managers looking for a place to put money. Why not Shopify being a Canadian company? I think that is the big edge that they have, is that there's just not a lot of other good Canadian companies, and Canadian money managers want to find places to put money besides oil. And Shopify is a good home for that. So I could see Shopify eventually $500. I'm a buyer. Valuation is crazy. Long-term is scary, but I think that whole aspect of it, that it's Canadian and we're looking, Canadians are looking for technology companies that they can invest in Canada. Shopify is probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, that's
I'm bullish the stock still.
You're bullish it.
Yeah, it's bullish at 300. It's bullish at 320. I'm still bullish at 366, but I'd like a pullback. Obviously, I don't own it. No opinion.
Keep an eye. Just give you an all-time closing high, 369.95. The all-time high was above that, but just keep an eye on that. I mean, you are $6 below it, so you want to see it get above, make a new all-time high here. Dennis, someone in the chat was short some Exxon Mobil puts. They're not asking for any. They're obviously long Exxon Mobil now. I had not pulled this chart up in a long time, and 70 didn't hold. We're banging on. I see a 69.40 low, a 69.33 low, 69.63 from yesterday. Man, that looks like big long-term support. We haven't been under $70 since January here. Oil seemed
look at the chart of USO.
Yeah,
we rallied from 1050 up to 1136. Now look at the chart of all the oil stocks. They can't get off the map. It's telling me they want to go lower. So Chevron is the only one that always performs its best in breed. It's the one that has held up better than any of them. I don't know why, but it continues to do it. I mean, Halliburton, we talk about this, it goes lower. This is the exact opposite of Roku, where market goes down, Roku goes up, market goes up, Roku goes up. Oil goes up, Halliburton goes down, oil goes down, Halliburton goes down. I mean, there's so many of these oil companies that are the same story. They have been awful, awful, awful investments, awful trades to the upside. They've been great shorts. Every rally seems to be a selling opportunity in all of them. ExxonMobil is a good company. I do not believe ExxonMobil is going out of business. Yes, the 5% dividend is attractive. Yes, I've been in this before. Right now, my oil exposure is as low as it has ever been. I own very few oil stocks. I've talked about this at a lot over the course of the last few weeks, why that is. And it's because I believe the world is moving to cleaner energy. Oil is not clean energy, and the electrification of cars is going to eat a lot of these companies' lunches. I think that oil stocks continue to go lower. I'm a seller of rallies.
How about a buyer of a dip in First Solar here? We got up over $68. I've had some.
I'm in it. Half size position. I want to buy more.
You want to buy more? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But this market is just so this market's scary right now. So I kind of want to buy. I'm going to buy some more. I want to buy more First Solar. I want to buy more Square. That's what I want to buy. Can I pull the trigger? Do I have the guts to pull the trigger?
Okay. All kinds of support here under $60 here if you get down there. Ratings, analysts are kind of quiet here. August, doesn't everybody take August off except for Benzinga's pre-market prep? But what did we have? Did you see anything? How about Oxy? How happy is Chevron that they didn't get
they overpaid so ridiculously for that asset, that APC Anadarko Petroleum. Crazy. The bidding war they got into for it with Chevron, and they came in, and look at what you get for that. It's been straight down ever since. The stock is in the gutter. JP Morgan reiterated it's underweight here, I believe, this morning. This stock is one of the worst. The oil stocks are all bad, and this one might be one of the worst. So, holy cow, I do not want to own this one. Not at all. Yeah. I don't want to own this with your money.
You don't?
No.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, my opinion. This is just my opinion.
That's what we're all about.
We keep asking oil stocks. They look cheap. I think they get cheaper. Occidental Petroleum, 7% dividend. It's like, how can you go wrong? You know how you go wrong? When they got to cut that dividend.
All right. Well, we've had an interesting show today. S&Ps have kind of made a round trip on us here. Got hit off that CPI data. Went down. Couldn't make a new low of the pre-market after-hours session. So I'll keep an eye on 66.75. Really nothing relevant there until we get down to some of the lows from last week. On the upside, I think to see some continued upside in the market today, I'm keeping an eye on 78.25. That's mid-range on the session, and we bumped up there a few times after we made the low. So not seeing a ton out there. TLT is trading up 52 cents. That's going to put a little bit of pressure on the banks here. Gold being gold, it's $16 off its high. It's pulling back a little bit. Dennis, any final comments on this Tuesday?
Again, same story. We're in a fade trade market where I think moves are to be faded to get these, big moves off the open. Sometimes they're buy opportunities. If they're rips to the upside, sometimes they're selling opportunities. I'm still playing the fade trade. I don't see no real general trend. We talked about this a couple days ago. I mean, we look at the SPY for the last 2 years and we've gone nowhere. So it's hard, you've just been a big battle between the bulls and the bears here, and the market's really going nowhere. We have no general direction. Yes, we are 2-3% off the highs. Maybe the all-time highs are in. Maybe we're up right back up to them. But there's short-term trading opportunities and all the chop. Expect more chop.
Okay. All right, Seth, want to wrap things up for us?
Yeah, sure. Tomorrow we are going to have guest Jake Wojcicki, founding member and director of business development at TrendSpider, which is a smart trading software. So that one should be pretty fun. If you miss part of today's show, you can listen to the whole thing again on our podcast. Find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and Stitcher by searching PreMarket. Please always remember that all the information, material, and content from our show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. That's our show for today. Thanks for listening, and we will be back with you tomorrow morning.